and the Associated Press. Please welcome Scott to the Cloud Summit.
Thanks, Stephanie. Hi, everyone. Okay, so SAP in sports, you might be thinking like this is a strange industry for SAP to get into. However, we could see that the world acts and operates very differently than it did even just a few years ago. Now, this isn't a sports event, but it shows St. Peter's Square as the crowd was waiting on a papal conclave in 2005. Now, if you look at 2013, from the same location as the crowd again waited on the papal conclave, can you spot anything different? Yeah, well, exactly. Things have changed considerably, haven't they? So with all the smartphones and wireless internet-enabled devices today, we could see that the sports industry was rich with data, and they also have an extremely fanatical fan base that's eager to use it. So earlier this year, our CEO, Bill McDermott, delivered his keynote to 22,000 customers and partners at our annual user group event called Sapphire, laying out a vision to run simple. Now, for those that don't know SAP, over the last 40 years, we've become the world's largest business software company, and today 74% of the world's transaction revenues actually touch an SAP system. And while our customers represent 86% of the Fortune 500 companies, in actual fact, 75% of SAP's overall customer base is actually small and medium-sized enterprises with less than $1 billion in revenue. So to run simple is basically to remove complexity from the customer experience, to simplify everything so that your customers can do anything. Now that's, in essence, the core of SAP's cloud strategy. Our mission is to make it as easy to gain insights, transact, and collaborate in your business life as it is to do this in your personal life. Our real-time data platform called HANA has been truly game-changing for our customers, and I actually heard one say that it's like looking through the front windscreen of a Tesla instead of squinting to see through the rear-view mirror of Granddad's old pickup truck. Now this again really reflects the spirit of SAP today. So I'm not going to go through each one of these stats, but the first one that jumps out here is that SAP has the world's largest global business network called Ariba, which has actually over 1.6 million connected companies from 191 countries that are trading and collaborating in over $600 billion worth of commerce annually. Now think about that for a second. That's actually almost 7 times the combined revenue of eBay and Amazon being traded in SAP's Ariba network in the cloud today. Now, while I cover media, sports and entertainment at SAP, we actually go to market across 25 industries, and we have a cloud portfolio for each industry covering all lines of business. Note also here that there's 1,500 startup companies who are placing their bets on our in-memory technology HANA, and that's just the startups. We actually have over 3,500 service partners who are jumping into HANA in a big way too. So before I talk about soccer, I wanted to quickly mention that by all means you can go to Amazon Web Services and you can sign up for HANA in the cloud for something like $1 an hour for up to 64 gigabytes of space. However, anyone that's interested to just have a play with HANA with no strings attached, you can actually access a development account if you go to this web address, and anyone can sign up. It's free, and I'll show the URL at the end in case anyone wants to check that out, and if you haven't grabbed it already. So as I've probably said a few times already, the foundation of SAP's cloud platform strategy is our real-time data platform called HANA. So let's take a quick look at what SAP is doing with it in sports. Over 50 million sports fans a week access sports facts that are running on HANA. And for those who follow the game of soccer, you may remember the World Cup in Brazil earlier this year. Well, you may also know that the German national soccer team, or the DFB, as they're known in Germany, they actually won the most prestigious title in the soccer world. Now, of course, it's not the first time that Germany has won the FIFA World Cup. They actually won it in 1954, 1974, and in 1990. So there's a little bit of a trend happening here, but nonetheless, I'd like to spend just a few minutes showing you how SAP and the DFB work together to innovate, create, and ultimately help the German soccer team gain a competitive advantage over the rival teams. They wanted a solution that they could use on the field at the training camp to be able to analyze the performance of single players, of the team, and of their potential opponents. And as a result, in March of 2013, SAP formed a multi-year partnership with the DFB, and then we held a design thinking workshop in October 2013 with the global managers of the national team, the coaches, the scouts, and the SAP team. And if you're not familiar with design thinking, it's actually a collaborative framework or a toolbox of processes that we use at SAP to help our customers imagine, create, and innovate on new ways to enhance the customer experience or the user experience, or indeed the fan experience, as it's called within the sports industry. So the DFB's ultimate goal was to come up with a solution to transform the performance analysis by combining videos with event and spatial information, leveraging the power of SAP HANA. Their vision was for a video-based system combining training preparation, scouting, and player analysis that would take football, or soccer as we call it here in the US, to a whole new level. Now, after conducting the design thinking workshop with the DFB, SAP developed a custom prototype within 6 weeks, using our HANA platform in the cloud to support what the DFB was looking for, which was to combine all video and match content and data for all of the World Cup players and all of the matches. The output of that workshop was a custom prototype that we created called SAP Match Insights. So what did the solution consist of, and what did it allow the DFB to do? Well, the solution actually included bringing data from third-party visual tracking systems, sensors and event logging systems, and they also worked with other partners to capture high-quality spatial information of the training sessions. And the coaches and scouts were able to analyse critical situations that occurred in previous matches, and based upon these situations, they were able to monitor the strengths and weaknesses of the opposing team and develop strategies and tactics to counteract them. So by doing this, the German national team were able to actually track KPIs on players, on teams, so they were better prepared for their opponents, and they could actually work to exploit their weaknesses. So the German team really used these tools as a competitive weapon against their opponents. So here's a 30-second video I'm going to show you just that will tell you all about it.
The German national football team counts on SAP's support for successful matches in Brazil. With SAP Match Insights, coaches and players can analyze their performance and discuss key situations of each match virtually. The analysis also enables the media to deliver more detailed insights of matches and trainings, monitoring, analyzing, and debriefing the team and optimizing their preparation for future matches during the tournament is now possible on a high technology level. To run for victories with the help of SAP.
Okay, so I realise that some of the images in this were quite hard to see, so I'm going to just run through a couple of screenshots here and give you a better idea of what the solution looks like. This is the welcome or the landing page, and as you can see, it's got the coach or the training staff along the top, and the players are listed along the bottom. You can actually select any one of these pictures to get to the profile of that coach or player, and the system is role-based, so it displays features based upon the role of the person that's logged in. So this is the view from a player's perspective, very clean interface, and they can see specific video clips that are associated with notes that the coaching staff would like them to focus on. So down the left-hand side, the player sees, and if I can translate correctly from German here, it says overview, games, play scenes, training programs, and training scenes. In the middle are video clips specifically of the player and with feedback from the coach. And on the far right are videos from the last match. Now, during the FIFA World Cup in 2014, all of the important matches were actually uploaded into this tool, even if the German national team wasn't playing against that team. And this actually enabled them to collect data on all players and all teams, which meant that the players, the scouts, and the coaches were able to evaluate all the matches, select key situations, and then use the tool to prepare against their next opponents. Now, this is the tactics board here, and it goes into top secret detail about the strategies that the coaches want to deploy for each situation. The coach board can be used by scouts and coaches to develop new tactics and practice them in training sessions, and different tactics can actually be animated within this tool. And lastly, the match viewer page. It's segmented by the position and possession and other situations for easier and faster analysis. It actually focuses on a certain player and the stats and the range they cover with the shadows and the distance between the players with the lines. So the match analysis screen provides access to all the key situations, and scouts can actually filter key situations in matches faster. They can allocate these scenes to certain players and save them into a player's profile. So you can actually go to each situation and the match as they've segmented them in the bottom part of the screen here. So hopefully that at least gives you a quick feel for what the DFB were able to do. And the German national team actually think that this is the best thing since Oktoberfest was invented. The Argentinian team, I'm not quite sure. I think no tanto or not so much. But as you can imagine, we're getting many calls from basically every national soccer team on the planet who want to have this solution. I wanted to quickly highlight a couple more use cases that are very interesting that we've been working on over the last year. Besides the German soccer team, as with the NFL, we actually went through a same process in orchestrating a design thinking workshop where we were able to help the NFL basically reinvent their fantasy football league to help significantly enhance the fan experience and the fan engagement. So we've also formed a great partnership with the Women's Tennis Association, and we're going to just watch a quick overview of that.
How does the world's #1 player, Serena Williams, improve her power? SAP Analytics. In professional tennis, it usually comes down just to a few key points. And SAP is working with our athletes to analyze their performance, not just during one match, but over an entire season.
It helps me to talk with my coach and see what I'm doing wrong or good, and then we can embrace that in practice.
And sometimes it backs up what you think, and sometimes actually you have a pretty strong idea of something, and you can look at the statistics and it makes you question what you actually saw. So it's useful in making sure you get the right information.
These statistics will all make my job more easier and of course more accurate.
SAP and the WTA are transforming tennis to enhance the experience for our fans so they understand more about the game and their favorite players.
Stats and analytics is an ever-growing area in sports, and it allows us to share information with our fans, information that they've been asking for and information that they're looking for.
Every player thinks differently, and every player approaches different situations differently. So they have already possibility to hear on-court coaching. So with this program in place, I think it will help them to get even closer to the game.
I think when someone really loves tennis, they want to see more about the match. I think it's a great thing.
The WTA runs better with SAP.
Information.
Information is power.
What we've done with the Women's Tennis Association is actually truly unique because we've come at it from three different perspectives. Within every major tennis venue, there are cameras set up to capture video at actually 1,000 frames per second from a company called Hawkeye. And SAP takes that data, and in seconds we visualize it, analyze it, and deliver it to the coaches on the court so that they can make in-match decisions with their players. It's also used after the match as a training tool similar to the DFB. That same data, with a bit of a different analysis and visualization, is actually used by the WTA broadcasters for faster and more accurate data while they're on the air. In fact, Mary Jo Fernandez, one of the WTA broadcasters, actually said she couldn't imagine broadcasting without it. And we've also developed mobile fan apps for the WTA tournaments that gives the fans every bit of that information, play-by-play, for the matches and the tournaments. So we created a similar solution with the NBA to bring over 65 years worth of data from the NBA's history to life, to be able to deliver an entirely new experience to fans around the world in an intuitive and visually pleasing new way. So NBA arenas, similar to the WTA, have sports view cameras that actually capture 30 frames a second, and in the very near future you'll actually be able to click on any point within the game, whether it's a pass, a 3-point, a free throw, or a steal, and from the animated court, and then watch the associated real-time video with it. So you'll see on the left there's a heat zone chart, and now this is such a game changer compared to trying to look at the old-fashioned kind of tables, score tables, that have basically been used in sports for about 3/4 of a century. So the HANA instance also feeds the NBA's apps, so you can watch the stats literally change play by play. So if you like basketball, I highly recommend you take a few minutes and go to nba.com/stats and check out the site. So thank you for your time, and it was a pleasure to speak to you about what we're doing in sports and in the cloud. Thank you.